This episode is not sponsored by the haters. They wish. Hey there, my 5 faithful listeners and anyone who randomly stumbled upon this episode. My name is Lydia, and this is the Lydiatodd pod. It's probably not a good idea to start a podcast because your last name rhymes with pod. But I'm here anyways. From spontaneous trips to special guests to deep spiritual conversations and everything in between, expect inspiration, stories, and plenty of laughter. Grab a glass of milk, settle in, and let's dive into the episode. Oh, don't mind me, just checking my calendar to see if I have room for haters this month. Nope, I don't. Well, maybe next time, haters. Haters are going to hate. That is a well-known fact. That is so well-known that it's become a popular phrase. Haters gonna hate. I think that the new form of hate mail is spam comments. I had a reel the other day that randomly blew up for no reason. It was actually one that I thought about not posting because I was like, one, it's really out of context from the episode. Two, it provides no educational value. I mean, it was just me saying some funny random stuff about housing in London. Three, it just was not about my brand persona. I'm mostly about travel and I'm about faith and about content creation and music, and housing in London is just not really in any of those. The only reason it came up was in a travel video. I posted the reel, not thinking anything of it. I wake up the next morning and I have over 10,000 views on this one video. There are like 20, 30, 50 comments, and none of the comments are very, what I would call, warm or welcoming. They were rude remarks, they were insults, they were questioning my competence and ability to speak on this subject. I mean, so many different comments, none of them being edifying, uplifting, encouraging, curious, none of that. While those comments may boost your post in the algorithm, they do nothing to boost morale. One of my favorite comments was, "Free yourself from your American mindset." And they were completely serious. There was more to the comment, I believe. I had a really good laugh at that one. It's just funny how people can comment things and not think about, hey, there's a real person on the other side of this screen. There are people who take what you say and read them. This comment section is not just my personal thought bubble. It's so interesting how whenever you are online, it's easy to feel no sense of responsibility, no sense of accountability for what you say, and it's way easier to become a darker version of yourself because who cares? No one will know. So this episode is about how to not be that person in the comments. You don't want to bring someone down. I know you don't want to hurt anyone. You are a good person and you see value in other people's souls. So how do we not be the hater in the comments? The first step is to realize that the digital world is worldwide. Some people come from a very different culture than whatever you grew up in. They've never witnessed or experienced the things that you hold as common or everyday things. They may also have a different worldview, a different point of view that makes them view everything with a different lens, with a different set of moral standards, a different set of assumptions. They may think differently, they may even talk differently, use different vocab. They may use the same words that you use, but with different meanings associated with them. They may value things that you would feel insulted for even considering, until you realize that the person on the other screen is not a replica of yourself. It's going to be really easy to come across as a mean hater in the comments. The way that they presented something, who this person may be on the other side of the world and never seen or experienced or know the things that you know, they're going to see your comment and be hurt because, oh, sorry, my background didn't give me that knowledge, didn't give me that experience. I wasn't able to approach the topic the same way as you. Whenever you comment, think before you comment. Is this comment going to build up the person on the other side of the screen? Or is it going to tear her down? Are you increasing knowledge and wisdom through helpful comments? Or are you hiding insults behind a mask of teaching someone? Can you word your comment in a way that shows love and compassion? Another question to consider is, do you sound like a spam bot? Would receiving your message, if you received it, make you feel upset, angry? Would it make you cry? Would it make you offended? If it gives you any of those emotions, if someone else commented it at you, then maybe reconsider your comment. If you're unsure about your comment, get a friend to proofread. It will not be the end of the world if whatever you type in those comment sections never get read. I honestly doubt that you're going to change someone's opinion or get a lot across through a comment on a post on social media. But if you really feel the need to comment it, then get a friend to proofread so that you say it in the best way possible. When in doubt, DM or throw out. This is a personal tip that I have taken to heart. I used to want to comment. I would be so enraged is not the right word. I would just feel strongly whenever I saw someone post something that I knew wasn't right or was mean or something, and I would want to comment on the post to let them know because I cared about them. I didn't want them to further false information or something. And I realized that commenting would be the same as if I was in real life with that person and they did something that or said something that wasn't right. And in front of all of our friends, I said, hey, you're wrong about that. So I wouldn't want to publicly do that to someone. If I was friends with someone who said something wrong, I would want to pull them aside and privately tell them. So if someone says something or needs correction in some way, or maybe it's just missing some information, I will privately DM them so that I can not humiliate them. Maybe they didn't know, but they're going to be embarrassed if you comment and everyone else sees, oh, they made a mistake. At the end of the day, do you really think that your comment is going to help the people who read it to grow, to learn, to be encouraged, or be challenged in a positive way for the world or for themselves? If not, you're probably guilty of being a hater in the comments. So I'm assuming that most of the people listening to this are not listening to it because they want to reform from hate comments. I had to include it in case you were also a perpetrator of that crime. But if you are a victim, if you have experienced hate comments, hate mail, whatever you want to call it, how do you deal with it? That's probably why you're listening to this. You have dealt with some form of hate online, you're really hurt by it, and you want to know what to do. Well, I don't think that there's one simple solution for this, but I've wrote down some tips that I wanted to share with you that helped me get through every time someone has commented a hateful comment on one of my posts. So, what to do when haters hate. Step 1, share your feelings with family and friends. It's not healthy to bottle up your emotions, especially if they're making you feel less valuable, lack confidence, or making you feel depressed. Please do not keep it to yourself. The more that it's just in your head and not out loud, the more likely it's going to be blown out of proportion. Maybe you'll start believing things that aren't true about yourself. So, talk to someone about it. The second thing to do when haters hate is to take the truth from the comment. Thankfully, haters usually have some sort of truth in their comment, even if it is in the ultimate cruelest form. So find out what they said that can be constructive to your life. Don't let their comment be used for evil, use it for good. Personally, I like to always thank them for what they shared and let them know how I grew from it. That's usually a way to de-escalate comments real quick because then they realize, oh, there's a real person on the other side of the screen. And yeah, they read what I said and actually cared about it. It also helps me to laugh it off because if I see someone says, oh, you should free yourself from your American mindset, I'm like, thank you. I really appreciate that. That has always been something that I strive to do, to grow in my worldview, to understand people better who aren't from the same background as me. By finding whatever truth it is in the comment, it helps me feel better because I have something to work towards that's actually helpful to my own personal growth. and it makes the comments seem like they actually did care just a little bit about me. The last step, or maybe the first step, depending on how well you can handle hate, is forget about it, or delete them, or respond politely. If you respond, remember that love is always the strongest weapon. And I don't mean that as in, oh, this is how you get back at them. I just mean that if you want to fight away the hate, it's not going to be done with more hate. That's not going to be how you get rid of hate. Then you just become the type of person who hurts people. If you want to respond in some way, respond in love. It may make them realize that they were talking to a real person. If it is too much to handle, then consider turning off comments from non-friends, making your account private, or having a friend proofread through all of your comments on your posts before you ever look at them, and removing the ones that aren't that helpful. Your mental health is really important, and there's nothing wrong with prioritizing that. Ultimately, it may help to take a break from social media or to make all of your accounts private. You shouldn't have to be this strong just to have a social media account, but it's the day and age we live in. So if haters are hating, then I hope that you feel a little more equipped to deal with the hate and to not become a hater yourself. I know this is a short episode, but I don't really find much joy in talking about hate, so I think I'm going to wrap it up here. If you've enjoyed this, or if you have a friend who is dealing with a lot of hate comments on social media or other platforms, share this episode with them and be an encouragement to them. It's the best feeling in the world when your friends are there for you whenever you're going through anything difficult. This episode is not sponsored by the haters. They wish. As we wrap up this episode of the Lydia Todd Pod, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude for you spending time with me. This really challenges my belief that I only have 5 consistent listeners. If you have any thoughts, topics, or questions you'd like me to explore further on future episodes, please reach out on one of my socials. I hope that our conversations have brought you inspiration and joy. If you have friends or family who might be interested in our conversations, don't hesitate to share the podcast with them.